This is basically how we would do the wall drill for squats with kettlebell sports, since we're used to doing jerks straight up. So get your toes as close to the wall as you can. Get your arms up into that jerk position. Normally the jerk position would be here to here, right? So now we want to work on that thoracic spine extension. Shoulders set, lowering slowly. And coming back up. One's easy. Subsequent ones are much tougher. So you're going to try to feel if you have any tension areas. So if you find one, what we're going to do, everybody's heard of the peanuts. And this is a more of a normal size one. A lot of people use lacrosse balls. I'm not a fan of lacrosse balls unless you've done a lot of tissue work for many, many, many years and you know what you're doing. Anyway, this one's from Rad Roller and this is from Trigger Point. The big difference. So follow me. So what I like to do is a larger size first for a more broad, right there. There's spines in between that. Now cross and go side to side, kind of open that up a little bit. You might feel some pops, adjustments right there. Go down a little bit, side to side. Now for kettlebell sport, what we want to do is I want to do the actual movement that we're going to do. So kettlebell jerk, double jerk is what we want to work on. So I can find if there's any tense areas. So right here, my left side is a lot tighter than the other. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pay attention to that spot and move that arm and lean more over here. I'm going to lean over that side. I'm going to go through the range of motion several times, even farther than the range of motion. But just doing angles out here, like a lot of people do the snow angles and stuff like out here to loosen it up, that's fine. But we also have to be in this position to increase the range of motion that we're working on for kettlebell sport. So after we've done that for a while, I can also kind of roll up and work on flexion, an extension, flexion, extension. And then after I've done that for a while, you're going to try to go a little bit. You're just going to change the tension. So pressure, this one is very different. Now, I can let my shoulder blade, my shoulders be on the ground. And I can work on internal and external rotation here. And then also the same way this way with my elbows on the ground. So once again, go back to that kettlebell sport, and I'm finding I'm very tight right here. So this, the rad roller is getting a little bit deeper, or it could have been opened up by that size. So work through that range of motion, do a few reps of that, and there it is. Right here is when I'm tight, and it's almost like when my lats are activated. So I'm going to breathe through that. Try to sink down through there. I'm going to go back to that overhead position with where the bells would be. Now I don't want to be out flat. I like to externally rotate those shoulders. There. So I'm bringing those elbows forward in that position. Okay. So then after that, you go back over here. And all you have to do is retest what you did before. Toes to the wall, hands up. And there you go. So that was actually easier for me the second time, just by doing that little thoracic area. So hopefully that helps out. Peanuts, or you make it yourself or from other companies. Okay, so now post-workout, after we loosen up and mobilize that thoracic spine, what we're going to do is work in actually stretching that movement overhead. With the same thing with the kettlebell. I'm going to internally rotate, externally rotate. So you'll notice my wrist doing the work, but the elbow's following it. So I'm trying to work on my elbow down. Now, the reason why I do this afterwards, especially with kettlebells, is with kettlebells we have so much mobility. We have two. So we're working on mobility, the arm above head. But the thing about that is we always have the joint being compressed. So now my upper arm humerus is getting pushed down into the shoulder side. So why I like to do this is now I'm going to get into the same position, and instead of having it pushed in, I'm going to have it distracted, so opening the joint, so giving space in the joint right here. So I like to do this afterwards, because if I do this before I train, my joint can feel a little loose. Not something that you want. So I like to do it in different positions. I like to do it with that same side knee forward, then also opening up that side, stretching the lat. Same thing, external rotation, internal. You can do activate, relax, contract, relax, loosen up the lat. Also the same thing with the pec. You can just do it in reverse and get into this position and go pulling forward on an angle. So let's do it from the side, get that lat, get the QL, get a whole lot of stuff. The wonderful thing about bands is you can create so many different angles. We can work across the body, we can work behind the body, and there you go. So that's what I like to do after we've trained, so as to not have a loose kind of open joint before all of that work.